because the other one went into the spinning circle of buffering doom. Okay. So hopefully everybody will find me. Let's just have a look. Okay. Hello, Alison. No idea what happened, but now we're just in part 2 of tonight's Try It Out Tuesday. So, I did notice relatively quickly, so I have done some more leaves. I hope, you know, that's okay. I have gone ahead and done some more leaves. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to go in with my Posca faux stitch whilst everyone else catches up and finds us here, because that seems like a good idea. Okay, I have done a faux stitch on all the pages in this book so far. So, in fairness, I think I've done them in every book I have so far. So, that seems like a ridiculous thing to say, to truth be told. Nothing wrong with being occasionally ridiculous. But if I just do my Posca faux stitch now, that'll give other people a chance to join in. If you are catching up on this live later, you feel free to fast forward this part if you want. That's totally okay. Or leave me running and go and get a drink. Typical, though. I had lots of lovely peeps in my last one. And I just hope they'll come and find me. Okay. So, the thing with your Posca thing, it just goes so quick doing your Posca faux stitch. I think it's one of those things that it looks like it's going to take a long time, and then it doesn't. I have no idea why the live cut out at all. I have a feeling it's because I was telling someone how good our internet was yesterday. You know. What a fool! Okay, I'm going to also add in, because of the more is more thing, I'm going to take some of the small coffee stain stamp, and I'm going to do something I've never been accused of before, is having low sound, Dominique. That would be a new one for me. I'm going to take my coffee stamp and I'm just going to add that in a few different places. And to be fair, it is going to sort of just work into the background, because I used picked raspberry to make this particular paper. So it's all just going to look like it is part of that. Alrighty. Okay, is everybody sort of back before I start on the next piece? I'm going to move that out of the way. Alright, and I'm going to come in, I'm going to get some of these fab strips. Now what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to rip one and see how I feel about it, because I've got another one if I don't like it. Oh, no, see, that I like. That I do like. Okay, so I'm going to run some wet glue along there and add that on. And then I'm going to take the other half and put that at the top. Get some of my clips, of which I have an abundance for situations just like this. And while we leave that to dry, we're going to get those leaves in. I want to put underneath my flower. And this is where we're going to add in a bit of the green. Okay, I've just got glue on my nose, excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to put, I've got my stamping block here, so I'm just going to use this. Get some mowed lawn on there. Bit of a little mist. That was actually quite a big mist, wasn't it? And a brush. I'm going to pick up, I'm just going to add some of our mowed lawn onto here. And the stem. Now, this is one of these. The flower from the Blooming Blooms is cut out edge to edge. Okay, that's one of those things you can either decide to cut out the stem and the leaves edge to edge. If you want, you can leave it with the white edge, or you can just go over it, and I'm just going to go over it. I think the white edge next to a non-white edge will annoy me. But as daft as it sounds, the colour being over the lines won't. So you have to go with what will annoy you the least some days. And I don't want to cut it out any closer. So, okay, so I'm going to pick up some of the mustard seed and go in. I'm actually going to give this a little waft with the heat tool first. Okay, and then that's it. Get the mustard seed a little bit more prominent in the middle, which will give us a bit more of a citrusy colour really. Put a little bit around the edges as well, where I notice any gaps. It's not a real leaf. You don't have to worry about it. Okay. Let's get the heat tool on it again. Okay, so as you'll see from here, when I have made this one, I've already added in the white details, just added in some white spots and some other bits and things like that. So that piece is done. So what I need to do is add something similar to these. So I'm going to get my Posca back out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to add some white dots along the centre. And then one at the tip of each section of the leaf. And then some going down. And that's it. That's all I'm going to add to that. Okay. Right. That is stuck enough to not move anymore. So for me, that's, you know me, dry enough. All it has to be is dry enough to move on to the next stage. Now I think, oh, that's starting to look fancy. Starting to look fancy. So what I'm going to do is, before we start putting on our blooming blooms, etc., we are going to stick our page into the book. Now, if I had some double-sided tape, I would use my double-sided tape. I do not. Well, that's not true, actually. I do have double-sided tape. I am currently unaware of its exact location. I was talking to Charmaine from Dolly Dimples today, and I was saying, and we were talking about being, you know, really well prepared and polished for demos and things like that, or our lack thereof, shall we say. And basically I was saying, well, for me, I actually reckon the people that know us well and the customers that know us well, they would find it genuinely quite worrying if we came over all organised. Like, you know, because even when we try, you know, best laid plans and all that, I just think it doesn't always work out. Okay, so those little ones you see, they're just holding it in place to catch. Absolutely lovely. And we can continue now working on with this. So I've added on, like I say, my strips, which I'm really, really pleased with. They have actually worked out so well. And now we need to use our Blooming Bloom. Now I think this is going to need a touch of dimension. So I'm actually going to use foam pads for this. But I think I'm going to use wet glue for the stem, because I think that is going to look really, really stunning to have that bit flat and then that just a tiny bit raised up. In all honesty, that would look beautiful decoupage in this situation, and if I was making a page for a frame, that's probably what I'd do, because I think this would actually make a really nice piece of wall art to go in a frame. And if I was going to do that, I would box frame it and actually, you know, decoupage that up, because I think it would look really, really pretty. So I'm just going to put that on there. Just hold it just for a second. Just let it really take. Okay, and then I'm going to add a couple of 3D foams. Onto here. I have a question. Here's a question for you guys. This is where you can help me. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in there. And I will say, I think the middle's missing some Posca, because it looks a little bit hazy in the middle. So I'm just going to put this in some of the dots just to give it a more precise look, which I think is really nice. And then I did have, like I said, I did have some other flowers that I thought about maybe, but I'm now wondering if they're really needed. I'm not sure they are. I'm really not sure they are. Let me leave them there for a second whilst I think on it. I do have some little hearts that are from another Catalyst card that I've just cut out of some scraps. I'm just going to look at that just for a second. You like the pink one at the top? See, that's the one I wasn't sure about. I didn't know if it was too dense in colour. Like, I'm really not sure. You like the top pink one too. Ooh. I can't just use one flower, because then there'll only be 2 flowers on the page, and that will mess with my absolute level-loving mind. Okay, I'll do it with this one because you're not sure about this one. Sorry, my question was going to be on the YouTube channel, right here on YouTube. Well, I have a playlist that is art journaling in a notebook. Although this is plain paper, it is still a notebook. So I'm just checking. Do you think these should be in there? So I could do that with the pinker one, or do you like the overhang? Love the half flower. That okay, so do you want me to do that with the more purpley one, or just leave it as the one that's white? This is an interactive live tonight, ladies and gents. Interactive live. I'm going to get my Wordy stickers out while you're thinking. Okay. So, Wordy stickers. I think it's got to be a white one. No. It's the funny one with the Wordy stickers. I always know it when I see it. And I spend so much time looking at them. You'd think I'd know exactly where to go looking if I know what, but I don't. So... oh, here's a good one. Because we had some newbie paper crafters yesterday. Which I have to be honest, I find very exciting. Some newbie paper crafters. Like, invigorating, to be honest. It's just lovely for people to, have a go. We were making tags. And they were like, this is just so much fun. And I was like, yes, it is. It really is. It really is fun. It's like super fun. It's like super fun. And we spend a lot of our time telling people, don't we, or explaining, yes, it really is fun. This is what I like to do. There we go. You're done. Okay. So we're going to go with... how many pairs of scissors do you need to get out, Bev? Oh, you remember I was very upset because I couldn't find my little decoupage scissors? I found them. They were in the kitchen. Obviously. The glue's decided not to come out yet now, after using it absolutely fine all evening. Failure makes a great path. To success. And this is one of those phrases that in a way, I use a lot with my children, to be honest. I always say to them, you learn more from getting it wrong than you do from getting it right. If you got everything right first time, what are you learning? Nothing. So It's a very similar sentiment. Failure makes a great path to success. Absolutely. It's true. That's why. So, do I have something I can balance this on a little bit to lift it up? No, but I can hold it. Okay. So that is tonight's page. I think it works absolutely beautifully with the one it's next to. I think they have lots of similarities and lots of differences, which I really like. Doodle art just strikes magnificence again. Honestly. Stunningness. Stunningness. Okay. So, as always, if you can like or comment anything you see from Bee Crafty Stamps on social media. We are at Bee Crafty Stamps on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of the above. Threads. That would be absolutely magnificent. Have a go. Anything you make using Bee Crafty products, also make sure you tag us, tag at Bee Crafty Stamps, because I want to come and have a look, because I'm nosy and I like to see. And that's enough of a reason, basically. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. Honestly, I really want to keep doing Try Out Tuesdays and being Bee Crafty for as long as possible, and I can't do that without you. So thank you so much for joining me. Everything you saw should be on the Bee Crafty website, but if you can't find anything, please let us know and we will do everything we can to help. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, a fantastic rest of your week, and you do have a couple more days to get your entries in to Sally's challenge on the Bee Crafty Stamps group on Facebook, so make sure you head over on there and upload your makes. Thank you so much for staying with me, guys. Bye.